So let us start. So today's question is about, it is also a question from past papers where we are going to read a passage, and the question specifically tells us, let's take a look at this one. So, as we know, it is from section 1 of the writing paper, Reading for Ideas. Read passage 1 honey in the insert and answer all the questions below. 1A notes. Identify and write down the information in the passage which describes the importance of honey in former times and the possible benefits of honey in modern times. All right, so we now know the two focus areas of our summary writing question. Use material from the whole passage. At this stage, you do not need to use your own words. Use note form. To help you get started, the first point in each section of notes is done for you. You may find it helpful to use bullet points when listing the content points. You'll be awarded 12 marks for content points. So, the first area of focus, the first focal area of our question is the importance of honey in former times. Now, remember, in this particular question, we know that this is going to include some examples also. As we read the passage, we'll be able to highlight the important points. The importance of honey in former times. The first point is done for you, sweetening ingredient in many dishes in Greek, Egyptian, and Roman cuisine. Right? Okay, so can we quickly underline or highlight the areas of importance for our question?
Um, Miss, the importance of honey in former times
Yes.
and the possible benefits of honey in modern time.
All right. If you just notice one thing, we have got two different words here. For the first section of 1A notes, for the entire summary, we have to keep in mind that the importance in former times is different. It is different from the possible benefits in modern times. Okay, so that is why what we need to keep these two areas in mind. We cannot, because I have seen many students make the same mistake here. They think, oh, it is about the importance of honey in former times and the importance of honey in modern times. That would be incorrect. So while selecting the content points and while using those points in our summary, we need to be very, very careful and mindful of the requirements of the question. Similarly, let us not select the benefits for the first part. We have to keep in mind the word importance. When we say importance, what comes to your mind? What can we expect before we jump into the reading part? What can we think of that would include in the importance? Especially, it's given to us in the first example here.
Mainly its uses or how it has developed, helped to develop something.
Okay, great. All right. So, how important will not only limit us to the sweetening or the use, because sweetening ingredient is a type of use. So, importance would include not only the use but benefits as well as its role in the betterment or in the development of the mankind, of course, in the former times. All right. So, let's proceed. All right.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so I want you to just have your pen and paper ready. I will not be able to mark here, so you'll have to then select points quickly. Okay, can you please start reading? And when you need to take a pause to select a particular point, you can just stay and you can take a pause and you'll say, okay, this is the point we need to highlight. Okay,
Myths from paragraph one inclusive.
yes, the whole
Okay.
passage.
The, the production of honey has a fascinating history, as shown in the by a cave painting in Spain of humans foraging for honey at least 8,000 years ago. Honey was a sweetening ingredient in many dishes in Greek and Egyptian cuisine. We have, like this is given in the example, and
Yeah,
this use is mentioned in the works of many Roman writers, such as Pliny the Elder and the Virgil. Honey also features in the mythology of many civilizations. We can write this down.
good. Very
And
good.
for example, in Greek mythology, the infant god Zeus was fed on honey, and the Roman goddess of the moon, was often portrayed in the shape of a honeybee. We won't write this down because this is an example.
Good.
The texts of many world religions contain references to honey. We can also write this down.
Good.
And in the Jewish Bible, milk and honey flowed through the promised land. In Islam, the Quran promotes honey as a wealthy and nutritious food. And Buddha spent time in the desert where a monkey brought him honey to eat.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, we just need to enter Ishal. Okay. All right, Ishal, please mark your attendance and we're going to continue. Okay. Yeah, just take a minute and quickly scribble down the content points on your paper. Okay, from the first paragraph.
Okay, ma'am.
Also, in today's session, after reading the passage and writing down the content points, we are going to take a look at a sample summary. It is a student written summary. We're going to analyze it for its relevance, content, and we'll try to mark it according to mark scheme if we get time for the mark scheme. So, okay? Okay.
Okay, miss.
Ishal, are you ready?
Yes, miss.
Okay, let's start. Beta, please resume.
Um, Miss, in total in this paragraph, there are three content points.
Good.
Honey was a sweetening ingredient in many dishes in Greek and Egyptian cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
The second one being honey also features in the mythology of many civilizations. And the third one, the texts of many world religions contain references to honey.
Excellent. Well done. Okay, let's resume. We are looking at the importance of honey in former times, and the next part would be about the possible benefits of honey in modern times. So we are still
Yeah.
looking at the importance of honey in former times. Okay, paragraph number 2.
And then in paragraph number two, in ancient times, honey was widely used for medicinal purposes by the Egyptians, Chinese, Greeks, and Romans to heal cuts and burns. We will write this down.
Good.
It was used for medicinal purposes
Yeah.
and to cure the diseases of the intestine. It was seen to be so valuable that it was sometimes given as a precious gift. We will also write this down. And then in ancient Egypt, people who worked closely with the pharaoh were allotted daily portions of honey, and honey was given as a present to the pharaoh by people living in outlying territories.
Okay, do we write it down?
Um, no, miss, it is
An example. So,
yes,
just
example.
mentioning that since it was considered a precious commodity, it was used as a precious gift. That would be it. That is the overarching point. We will not be writing the examples such as people living in outlying territories were given honey as a present to the pharaoh. They would give
Yes,
it as a present. Okay. So, we've got 2 points here:
yes, yes, miss.
medicinal purposes and precious
And
gift.
then the gift. Yes,
And
miss.
it became too valuable. If I say here, I think these are 2 points that are complementing each other. One, it is valuable. It became so valuable that it was given as a precious gift. So,
Yes,
precious gift is like a use, and valuable becomes its monetary value, the value or attached to it in those times. So both of these value and its preciousness, both of them can come under the importance. So we've got 2 points here. 2 plus 3, we've got 5. Yes. Okay. Let's continue.
yes. In an ancient tomb in Georgia, in Western Asia, a clay vessel was discovered which contained the oldest remains of honey ever found, revealing that honey was used there 5,000 years ago as an embalming agent for the dead. We can write this down that it
Yeah.
was used as an embalming agent. This practice was also employed by the Egyptians, Babylonian,
Babylonians.
Babylonians, and Persians. Additionally, there was an established custom among some people, for example, in both North and Central America, to place jars of honey in tombs as food for the afterlife. Apple slices dip. Um, Miss, can we write this down that it
Yes,
was
I think we can write it down. That they were placed in tombs as food for the afterlife. Well, if we just look at this one, the first one is different as an embalming agent to preserve the dead bodies. Number two is it was that precious that it was thought that it would provide nutritious food to the ones who have passed away and they can live their afterlife happily and they can survive. About
yes, yes.
this one, let's decide this one. Okay, apple slices.
Apple slices dipped in honey during the traditional meal for Jewish New Year symbolize a sweet year ahead. And in ancient Chinese wedding ceremonies, the couple sealed their wedding vows with the drink made with honey. Thus, it can be seen that honey also had a symbolic value.
So, if you just look at the main idea here, what they've done is the main idea, the overarching point has been written at the end, the symbolic value. One, a symbolic value in Chinese weddings, right? And
Yes.
two, apple slices during the traditional meal of for Jewish New Year symbolize a sweet year ahead. So one symbol is having a sweet year ahead, and another that is in, of course, in Jewish weddings, sorry, in Jewish New Years, and the other one is for the Chinese weddings. So it has got symbolic value, and the examples are given before the main idea has been given to you here. So you can just
Um,
write the symbolic value.
so, Miss, if we skip these like the Chinese wedding and the traditional meal, so can we write this down like it can that honey had also been used as a symbolic value,
Such
such
as,
as
yes,
in Chinese
yeah,
wedding? Okay, I
then
got
it will be acceptable. Okay, but of course
it.
keep in
Okay, Miss.
mind that you'll be like limited in, and you know what, sometimes if I just ask you what do you mean by symbolic value, because this will become a vague point there. All right, then of course you may need the support of one of the two examples here, or the two examples are totally different from two different cultures, right? But we'll take a look at the mark scheme also, and we'll see what are the allowed responses and what are the unallowed responses. Okay, fourth.
The popularity,
What are we looking at? The possible benefits of
yes,
honey in
in
modern
modern
times.
time.
Okay, let's go back. Yeah.
The popularity of honey continues nowadays because it contains antioxidants. It may improve our body's immunity to many illnesses, even potentially fatal ones. We will write this down. It
Yeah.
contains
Antioxidants.
antioxidants.
Yeah.
Yes, it is thought that honey might be beneficial for patients recovering from illness, with one British hospital in 2006 reporting that it planned to use honey to speed up the healing processes of patients after surgery. Such research may provide scientific evidence for unconfirmed beliefs held by honey lovers all over the world that honey possesses healing properties. Honey mixed with lemon is a reliable cure for coughs and colds. We will write this down.
Yeah.
And in fact, the World Health Organization recommends honey as a treatment for coughs and sore throats, even for young children, stating that there is no reason to believe it is less effective than any man-made remedy such as pharmaceutical medicines.
All right. Are we skipping any point here? One is it contains antioxidants and it improves the body's immunity system. Number one. Another one is beneficial for patients recovering from illnesses. I think that these are two different points. One is specifically about antioxidants and then immunity system, and this one. Let's take a look at this one. And perhaps we are skipping something here. Let me just check. And this is
Yes,
true.
ma'am.
Colds and coughs. Yeah.
Yes, honey also possesses healing properties. We can also. No,
Yes.
sorry.
This
That
one.
is an unconfirmed belief. Oh, sorry. Um, we can write this point down that it is reliable cure for coughs and
Yes,
colds.
you must because it's a different one from the others.
Yeah,
That one talks about its immunity powers, its power
yeah.
to improve your immunity. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Honey is a source of.
many vitamins and minerals, the most common ones being vitamin C, calcium, and iron. We will write this down that it is a source of many vitamins and minerals.
Good.
Other benefits depend on the type of flowers used by the bees to make their honey. In contrast, if you check the content of any other sweetener, you will find it does not contain any vitamins or minerals or only a very few. Because eating honey is a good way to maintain blood sugar levels. We will also write this down
Yeah.
and encourages muscles recuperation after a workout. It improves athletic performance. Miss, the first point will be that it is a source for many vitamins and minerals.
Hmm.
The second one being that it helps to maintain blood sugar levels,
Good.
and it also encourages and then this is also an independent point that it encourages muscle recuperation and it improves athletic performance. So we get three content points from this paragraph.
Good. And we have like more
And
here.
then yes, miss. And mixed with milk, honey helps to create smooth skin. This is another point. Consuming this combination every day is a common practice in many countries. And the best shower gels and the shampoos are those advertising that they contain milk and honey. It is thought by some dietitians that because honey contains a unique blend of natural sugars, it triggers changes in the body which ensure we won't crave other sweet foods. The claim has given rise to a weight loss program based on honey which supposedly makes it possible to lose more than a kilo in a week.
Great. Okay. So now I will leave you with these points here and the one last paragraph. And I would want you to then list down your points independently, or at least like just jot them down. And then I'm going to move to another slide where we have the sample student answer. And today we're going to
Okay.
like use the mark scheme to mark it. Okay. And I feel like this is a very important step for all of us to understand how your work will be assessed, how it will be marked, what are the you'll be actually wearing the lenses of a teacher or the CIE examiner so that you also see the way your work will be assessed. Okay, so just last line, last paragraph, and then we'll move on to the student sample.
Okay, miss. And when we realize that even when we are not trying to lose weight, honey can be a part of our normal diet. For example, by being added to tea or to various sauces and cakes, we would all agree that honey is just delicious.
For its like taste, so we've got the points here. All right, Ishal, would you
Yes.
like to add your thoughts here for the sixth and seventh paragraphs? Thank you so much, beta.
Thoughts as in how?
Like the points that you should be using for your summary, possible
Um,
benefits of honey in modern days.
Miss, first of all, the smooth skin and the beauty, like the health ones,
Hmm.
such as the shower gels and shampoos, can be combined with the smooth skin one,
Yes.
and triggers and changes the body, which ensure we can miss the weight loss program,
Hmm.
as well as that especially when that it's just not for weight loss, but it also improves your daily diet and your daily lifestyle.
Hmm.
And we can add for the how it adds a certain and refreshing taste um, to various foods and like for example sauces and cakes as well as tea.
Great. Okay. All right. So now I want you to silently read this example. Meanwhile, I'll open the mark scheme. Okay. So you can take your time and then read this one. And let me open the mark scheme here.
Yes, miss, I've read it.
Okay, good. Any positive things here?
Mm, miss, but that depends because I observed that the one who has written it has missed some of the content points that we have just listed down.
Yes, okay, very good. And what did you like about this particular summary? Any positive points that you would
Um,
like to mention
miss,
first?
its fluency is remarkable.
Good. Okay.
Like there is no abrupt or no, like the writer has just made sure that the reader just flows along with it, and there is no abrupt start or any the connectives that he or she has used are
Hmm.
also very good, and the vocabulary and and the paraphrasing is also very like
Good.
attractive.
Very good. All right. Ishal.
Miss, in my opinion, I really liked how the structuring and the flow of it is very smooth, and how it's very catchy, and it's like everything, like all the content points are like put in front of each other in a very well mannered and neat way. And
Hmm.
even though we have missed some points, I still really like the proper use of like the commas and all of that, which just makes it readable and like very neat.
Very coherent. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to share with
One
you.
thing, miss,
Hmm.
sorry to interrupt you. One thing I would like to say that the writer has also has not exceeded the word limit. That is very important.
Yes, absolutely. Although he's not written the word count here, which I strongly urge you all to do and make a habit out of it. So please, whenever you write down anything, just write down the word count. Don't you write word limit, because some students have done this in the past, which doesn't really make sense. So word limit is like a range that's given to you. So you just write down word count, colon, and then the count of words. And you can just, of course, multiply with the average number of words per line. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you. Let me just share the mark scheme, and then we're going to come. Okay, let me see, because I will have to come here again and again. Okay, so here is the mark scheme, and let us start looking at it. Identify and write down the information. I hope you can see the screen now. It is visible, isn't it?
Yes, miss, I can.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Just a minute. All right. Identify and write down the information in the passage which describes the importance of honey in former times and the possible benefits of honey in modern times. Okay. So let us. What I'll be doing is I'll be reading one point from here, each of these points, and then I'll go back to the passage because you will not be able to see. I'll just read out loud, so that we can then assess. And I will ask you: should the candidate get the mark or not? Okay.
Okay.
1 mark for each correct point to a maximum of 12 marks. The importance of honey in former times. The given point is already given, sweetening ingredient in many dishes in Greek, Egyptian, Roman cuisine. Okay, that's given. Should the candidate get any mark for this one?
No, miss.
Because it is
It
given.
is already written down.
It's already given. Okay, so I have the. Okay, this child has written here, honey is a product being used since the olden times, comma, initially consumed as a sweetening ingredient in various dishes. Now, if you just take a look at the question, I'm just wondering if the question asks you to use the given starter. Anyway, let's move on. Um, Features in mythology, folklore, or legend of many civilizations. Remember, whatever is in the parenthesis is optional. And let's take a look at the point that the child has written here. I'll be using the child or the student interchangeably here. Okay, all right. The student writes, um, not to mention, references of honey have been traced in the mythology of mighty civilizations, and even the world religions discuss honey in their respective revealed books. Okay, has the student combined 2 points here? What do you think?
Yes, miss.
He's combined actually the first point, which is the tracing. What he says is the references have been made in the mythology of mighty civilizations and the world religion. So he's actually combined the 2 points here, mythology and world religions. All right, that is again a very nice way of combining the two two content points. The child has not given any examples alone, any examples alone. So the word mythology has been used and very creatively written in the fluent sentence. Used in religion, references to it in religions, and examples alone. You need to mention text, books, writings. The texts, books, and writings, these three keywords are underlined. It means they must be mentioned in the summary. The texts or books or writings of many world religions or religions, faiths, or beliefs contain references to it or to honey. Or you can write honey, or it is in the texts, books, or writings of many religions, faiths, or beliefs. Let's see what the child has written and should he be given a mark for it or not. The child writes, um, references of honey have been traced in the mythology of mighty civilizations, and even the world's religions discuss honey in their respective revealed books. So the child has used the word books.
Book.
Should he be given the
Yes.
mark? Yeah.
Yes, miss.
All right. So you either use texts, books, or writings. Let's move on to the next part. The next point is honey is used for medicinal or medical or therapeutic purposes. You're free to use the examples by Egyptians, Chinese, or Greeks and Romans. It's optional. If the examples of countries, peoples are given, it must be all four. So if a child is writing just two countries and skips the other two, it would not make sense. So keep in mind when you practice more and you check your mark schemes to compare your answers with your answers, you would see there are certain rules that you must follow. So if the child has decided to write these or maybe two countries names and he skips the other two, then it would not be okay. um Now, used to heal cuts alone, why would it not give him a mark? Because it is an
It is
example
not
of.
like an independent point.
Yeah, absolutely. So not an independent point. It's the example of the medicinal purposes, or used to cure diseases of the intestine alone. Let's take a look. And also, you'll be able to you'll get marks if you pick these lines in ancient times all the way to intestine. Let's take a look at the example here. I'll just read out the response. The child writes, the medicinal world extracted honey relentlessly to heal wounds and cuts as an ointment. Hmm, what do you think? He writes, the medicinal world extracted honey relentlessly to heal wounds and cuts as an ointment.
But that is like,
The use of
as
example.
mentioned in the mark scheme, yes, that is the use of example, so we won't be getting any mark.
It won't be, yeah, yeah, of course, the child will not get any marks by because he's given like good vocabulary, tried to come up with his own words, very fluent, but it does not really give the overarching point. It actually uses the examples here. Okay, so we can see such things there as well. Okay, next point is given as or remember valuable or precious or prized or special gift. Let's take a look at it. If you just write the reference to Egypt or give the pharaoh example alone, it won't give you any mark. I think that is pretty clear to all of us. Let's take a look at the sentence that the child has written here. The student writes, additionally, it was a common practice for civilizations to place honey in jars as food for the afterlife. Honey, indeed, also symbolized many things, regardless of the modern era. Okay, so the child has skipped this point particularly, completely. That honey was
Um,
given as a valuable gift, right?
yes, ma'am. But he has written down the seventh content point instead of it.
Yeah, which one is this one? The afterlife. So he's
Yes.
actually missed these two content points here. And we'll see how many content points have we actually can anybody keep a track of the content points that he's including?
Five he has written down.
Okay, and one of them is by the examiner, right? In total?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so in total four. No?
Yes.
No, one, two, three. He's done three of them. He's skipped fifth
But
and
he has written
sixth.
down the seventh.
Sorry? Yeah, he's
But
written the
he,
seventh one.
yes.
Absolutely. So he's written the seventh one. So five so far. Do we need to go over this one?
No, miss.
Okay, let's go. All right, let's take a look at another one. And then he writes, he quickly jumps to the modern day usages. Had a symbolic value or used as a symbol in rituals. Let's see what he has written here. As an ointment, additionally, it was a common practice for civilizations to place honey in jars as food for the afterlife. Seventh point. Indeed, honey also symbolized many things. Hmm. Yeah, okay. So symbolized many things, and he's actually used the word symbolized many things. There was no need for the examples of New Year weddings or maybe New Year comings or Chinese wedding vows. I think that was perfectly fine. Shall we move on to the next part?
Yes, miss.
Okay, the possible benefits of honey in modern times. Given point was it may improve our body's immunity to many illnesses that was given. So let me just read out loud what he's written here. Um, the child okay, we also take a look at the sentence that prepares the reader for the second part of the summary. He writes, indeed, honey also symbolized many things. Okay, regardless of the modern era, honey is still consumed. Do you like this transitional sentence?
But miss, this does not make any sense. Like regardless of the modern era.
I mean, yeah. Why would anybody stop consuming honey, which was quite popular in the olden times, which makes sense that it would still be used because
Oh,
it
okay.
is not something. Okay, if you would say regardless of the modern era, people still use landline or maybe dial phones, then it would make sense. I'm talking about like old
Yeah.
phones, right? So this is something that is regardless of the modern era will not be a suitable option here. Although he's tried to use
But
the
miss,
complex sentence actually. Maybe
we
he's
can
made an
write
effort.
but
Mm-hmm.
like honey has sustained its popularity or its significance throughout like till this date, yeah, or this present time.
Very good. Yeah, I really like it. Absolutely. That's perfectly fine. Very nice. Okay. While honey can potentially work upon our immunity to battle illnesses, it can also improve athletic performance and, not to forget, reduce the recuperation period for patients post surgery. If I just look at this particular one, I really, really admire the way the child has used the complex sentence structures while combining three content points. Let's take a look at them. The first one he talks about is, while honey can potentially work upon our immunity to battle illnesses, we know that we've got the dependent clause now. See, so we got the first one. I'll just go here. Let me just share it now with you guys so that you would also see what I have in front of me. Yeah. Okay, we got the first point here. It can also improve athletic performance. Second point, and not to forget, it reduces the recuperation period for patients post surgery. 3 points in one long sentence. Does it show sentence variation? That is one reason of its fluency. I hope you can see my screen. Okay, students,
Miss,
can.
sorry, I could not hear you, so can you repeat
Okay,
it
all right.
first?
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, miss.
All right. So if you notice that this particular paragraph, this entire sentence actually um, is quite fluent. He includes 3 points here: immunity, improving immunity to battle illnesses, improving athletic performance, and reducing the recuperation period for patients after surgery or post surgery. Right.
Yes.
All right, and there shouldn't be any hint in the minds of the examiners that the child has copied phrases or text from the passage. Notice that the child has used synonyms and paraphrasing techniques very carefully. Furthermore, honey coupled with lemon acts to get rid of coughs and colds. We had the point here, combined with lemon, right? And
Yes.
he's used the phrase get rid of, where honey joined with milk revives the skin when used. So improves the skin complexion or improves the skin's overall look, the child has used the word revives. And of course, the sentence structure makes sense here. Next, the child talks about not to mention consuming honey is a referable method of getting past sugary foods, more so to lose weight too. So again, I would say that it is exemplary in a way that he's good at combining points and bringing that coherence in his writing. Okay, so let's see how many points the child has written and how many points will we give to this summary. Remember, um, your summary is actually marked out of 10, and content points have to be for 12 marks. So let us mark the summary for 12 out of 12 first. Yes, beta. Yes, yeah, yeah.
Miss, what does not to mention mean?
Not to mention is like not to mention is another transition word where when we say okay, let me just give you an example. I have cooked X, Y, Z, not to mention I am good at cooking XYZ, ABC. Do you get it?
Okay,
It's like
I got
adding
it.
upon it. Okay, this is the only
Okay,
example I could come up with, like at the whim of it. All right, so how
okay.
many points has the child written there? Let's quickly check them out.
The first one being product used since the older times.
Mm-hmm.
Sweetening ingredient, the first one, but it was already written down, so we will not include it. And then mythology of the mighty civilizations is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Religious books is the second one. The medicinal properties is the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And then um, to place honey in jars for the afterlife is the fourth one. And then symbolize many things is the fifth one. Um, and then the sixth one is immunity against illness. Seventh one is athletic performance, and then the patient surgery is the eighth one.
Mm-hmm.
And then coupled with lemon, get rid of coughs and colds is the ninth one. Honey joint with milk. Skin one is the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And then consuming honey, preferable method of getting past food surgeries, 11 and 12. He has written down 12.
Okay, 12 content points. So we're going to give him 12 out of 12, excluding the two given points that we were given already, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay, and now let's come to the summary writing question, which is out of 10. Just give me the marks that you would give to him, and I'll just open the mark scheme for the summary part.
I would give a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Okay, very good. Okay, so the this is what it looks like. The mark scheme, just a minute. I have to just share. Okay, I'll share the window. Just a minute. And it is important. Have you taken a look at the summary writing mark scheme as yet?
Yes, miss, there are bands mentioned for both the language and the content, or the language and the like task fulfillment, the five, and then 5 marks for the language and 5 marks for task fulfillment.
Okay, very good. Okay, so task fulfillment is like 10 marks here. We already talked about the content points. If you want to really fall in the highest band, which is 9 or 10 out of 10, um, this is the descriptor that specifically summarizes the student's ability. So it says excellent understanding of the tasks demonstrated in an impressive response. All content included is relevant, which means all the content points that the student has written, they are all required in the question. They were required with no unnecessary details or repetitions, right? So can we say yes, it was a check mark? Check, check.
Yes, miss.
Great. Fluent and coherent presentation of the points. Was it fluent? Which was it coherent?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. Including possible synthesizing where appropriate. Okay, synthesizing is where the child is creating and we can say, coming up with understanding of the given discussion going on. And if you notice that the child has used words like not to mention, even so, which shows that the child was trying to synthesize, understand, and break down into digestible chunks of content in his head, and then he was putting it down onto the paper. And a wide range of appropriate stylish linking devices. I think we did see the appropriate, a wide range of appropriate stylish devices. They were not just firstly, secondly, lastly, but we also saw, not to mention, we also saw furthermore, and we also saw
Additionally,
additionally. Okay, very good. Let's move on to the next step. Here, what else does the child do here? Okay, we've got the opinion one. We're going to start that inshallah tomorrow. The next part, inshallah. I think it is always a good idea to mark your work. Yeah, all right. So I'll just stop sharing. Yes, please. Okay. Yes, please.
Miss, can you give an example of writing waiting like writing a complex sentence in this using these content points?
Let's take a look at this one. I think this is the perfect example that is in front of you. Can you see that? um in the
Yes.
what is the number of the line? Just a minute, hold on. It says, regardless of the modern era, no, this one, not this one. While honey can potentially work upon our immunity to battle illnesses, it can also improve athletic performance. Even if you stop here, from while honey can potentially work upon our immunity to battle illnesses, one point, comma, it can also improve athletic performance. Another point. You could
Okay, I
stop here,
got it.
you got your complex sentence. But he moves on to writing, and not to forget, it reduces the recuperation period for patients post surgery. This is the perfect example of a complex sentence with an add on, because the second part is basically a compound sentence right there. So you've got a compound complex
Okay.
sentence there. All right. If you want, you can take
Yes,
a
got it.
screenshot of this one. By the way, I will be like, uh, by the way, it does take some time to, what did you do?
Miss, as I mentioned earlier, it like enhanced my skills or gave me some of the important tips that I needed to write a coherent summary.
Okay. Do you want my feedback? Okay, Ishal, you go first and then I'll give you my feedback also.
Actually, for me, miss, I've already done summary writing with another teacher of mine who helped me a lot. But I would gladly say that your points and what you've taught me was very much clearer than that teacher, and I got to refresh my knowledge about this certain subject
Very good.
and this topic, and that helped.
Okay, now let me tell you now. Let me give you my feedback, because in today's session, you guys were actually coming up with the points, and through this entire session, I felt that I'm confident that you can score band 5 in your summary writing question. Not only you can score 12 points like for your content points, but you can also I can securely say, I can surely say that you can do very well on the summary writing question, especially Yahya. I think I'm so glad and proud, mashallah, alhamdulillah. So keep it up, beta. Ishal, keep it up, beta. And I would expect you guys to finish your summary writing question, the assignment from the previous one, remember, where you wrote down the paraphrased points. All you need to do is just now jot it down. The circus is one, I guess it was, and jot it down into a coherent summary and upload. Okay.
Yes, miss. Okay, got it.
Okay, beta, it's time to end the class. I hope you're all good.
Okay,
You'll stay safe,
yes, miss.
happy. Allah Hafiz.
Allah
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz,
Allah
miss.
Hafiz, bete.